Hey there, I'm Ira Feuerstein. I'm 59 years old and I'm an entrepreneur. Now, I've spent my life building businesses, working hard, doing what I love, and for 12 years I had no idea that type 2 diabetes was literally killing me. Now, I wasn't crazily overweight, I wasn't feeling sick. Heck, I thought I was doing everything all right, and then one day, bam, I had a massive heart attack. It was a widowmaker. Now, most people don't survive those, but somehow I did, and that's when I found out the truth. The truth was my body had been breaking down for over a decade, and I had no clue, no symptoms, no warnings, nothing. So now I'm on a mission. I'm trying to reverse my diabetes. I'm learning a lot, I'm taking advantage of a lot of different things, and I'm fixing my health. And I'm bringing you along for the ride, because trust me, what I've learned so far is not what doctors are telling people. And if you've been diagnosed or you know someone who has, you need to hear this. So let's start at the beginning. Let me tell you exactly how I ended up here. So here's what happened. It was just a normal day. Nothing felt off at all. Nothing. I wasn't having chest pain. I wasn't short of breath. And then out of nowhere, bam, this insane pressure in my chest. My arm went numb. I broke out in cold sweat. I knew something was really, really wrong. So I made the decision to go to the hospital. That decision saved my life. Now, next thing I know, I'm in the ER. And the doctors are rushing around telling me that I'm having a heart attack. Now, if you don't know what that is, especially a widowmaker heart attack, let me put it this way. 88% of people who have one, well, they don't make it. That's how serious it is. Turns out my main artery, the one that supplies blood to over half of my heart, was 100% blocked. There was no blood flow, no oxygen. My heart and my body was literally dying. And you know what the doctor told me after I made it through? He's like, "Did you realize you have diabetes?" And I was like, "What? No way. That can't be right. I don't fit the stereotype. I'm not massively overweight. I was a little overweight, but not massively." And I was thinking to myself, how the heck do I have diabetes? I had never even heard of it running in our family. But turns out I did. I had it for years, and it had been silently destroying my body the whole time. That silence is what's really bad. So here's what no one tells you. Diabetes isn't just a blood sugar problem. They all want to tell you that. It's a disease that affects everything. Your blood vessels, your nerves, your eyes, your heart. And if you don't catch it early, the first symptom you might get is a damn heart attack like happened to me. And the crazy part, I wasn't going to the doctor. So how could they catch it? I wasn't getting checked. And, once I start going after the heart attack, I realized that doctors use something called the standard of care system. And the way most doctors treat diabetes, they're only looking at blood sugar numbers. They don't check for something called insulin resistance. They don't check for metabolic dysfunction. They just wait until your blood sugar is high enough to slap a diagnosis on you, and by then, the damage is already happening. It's happening inside your body. You just don't know it. Now, once I was diagnosed, that's when the real frustration started. At first, my doctor put me on a drug called metformin. It's kind of the standard first-level medication. It's a go-to drug for diabetes. And they told me this will help control your blood sugar. Cool, sounds good, let's do it. But after a while, my numbers kept creeping up. So what did they do? They increased from 250 milligrams to 500 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams one time per day to 1,000 milligrams 2 times a day. And my fasting glucose just kept getting worse. So what did they do? They added another medication. This one was called glipizide. Then my A1C got even higher. So A1C, just so you know, is the thing that they can check your 3-month blood sugar level. So the A1C kept getting higher. So what did they do? They added another medication. This time it was actually called Ozempic, which started to control my blood sugar, but the side effects were awful. Awful. You would not want to go through it. And every time I ask the same question, why is this happening? Why is my diabetes getting worse when I'm following your plan? And every time I got the same answer. It's just how diabetes works. It's a progressive disease. And that's when I realized something. The way doctors treat diabetes is completely backwards. And I needed to do something about it. So let me explain what was really happening in my body. Because this is the part doctors don't explain. It's called insulin resistance. Big word, sounds complicated, but it's actually really easy to understand. Imagine you have a key, and that key is insulin. And your cells, every cell in your body, they have little locks on them. When everything's working right, insulin comes in, the key comes in, unlocks the cell, and lets sugar into your cell to be used for energy. That's how a normal body works. But when you have insulin resistance, it's like those locks are getting rusty. Insulin shows up with the key, but the lock won't turn. You can't open it. Sugar can't get into your cells. So what does your body do? It panics and sends out even more insulin, more keys, hoping that if it just shoves enough in there and the right key and the right lock, the door will eventually open. And for a while, that kind of works. Your pancreas just keeps pumping out more and more insulin, more and more of those keys. But over time, the locks get even more jammed up, more rusted. Insulin stops working altogether. Sugar just builds up in your blood because it has nowhere to go. And the dirty little secret that no one tells you is that diabetes is a progressive disease. If you don't do something about the underlying cause, if you don't figure out why your body isn't processing sugar correctly, you're on a path that only goes one direction. Worse and worse and worse, and more meds and more complications and more damage. Understand that. You have to get to the underlying problem, not put the Band-Aid on it. So after my heart attack, I knew I needed to do something different. Now, frankly, I waited quite a long time. I was still not in tune with what I needed to be doing. But here recently, I found a doctor that practices something called functional medicine. New word for me. But what they do is they actually look at the whole picture. Instead of just checking your numbers, your A1C and the blood sugar in your blood, your fasting glucose, he ran over 80 tests. Now, a standard doctor might check 30 things max. This guy checked almost 3 times that. And for the first time, I'm starting to actually understand what's happening inside my body. And that's what I'm going to share with you. Everything I'm learning about what really causes diabetes, what doctors get wrong, how I'm reversing it step by step. You are going to be with me every step of the way. I'm going to show you my blood work. I'm going to show you my toxicology studies. I'm going to talk to you about what the doctor is having me do. I don't know where this is going to go, but hopefully it goes to a place that is reversing my type 2 diabetes, and you're going to learn something from this too. Now, in the next episode, I'm breaking down the biggest lies about diabetes that keep people sick and how you can start taking back control of your life. So hit that subscribe button, drop a comment if you ever felt like your doctor wasn't telling you the full story, and let's go on this journey together. It's going to be fun, it's going to be interesting, and we're both going to learn at the same time.